Good evening. I just thought of, after days hard work, I said, okay, let me talk something, some, uh, some ideas, random ideas and thoughts. I was just watching TV after days hard work, and then suddenly I was told that speak something. Anyway, I'd like to, what can a human being speak? Human being can speak about himself, his family, his relatives, the people and the country one lives in, on the world which we live in, Mother Earth. So let me ask you, let me tell you, let me ask myself that as a human being, as human beings, what is our contribution to this Mother Earth which has given us everything? It has given us the birth. It has produced mankind. It has produced trees, birds, animals, flowers, rivers, water, and everything, the space around us. But then we are living. Life is a gift of nature to us, a gift of God, supreme energy. But in return, when we go away, when we are sleeping, we are about to close our eyes forever. We are departing away from this conscious world. We will not see this world again. This is one time opportunity unless we get reborn. We will be part of Mother Earth. We will be in it. We were part of it. We are part of it now. And future also will be part of it. There is no question about it. After all, anywhere in space you go, you may go to Andromeda Galaxy, and you go to the outermost space where trillions of years takes for the light to travel. To us, we are atoms remain the same, the carbon atom, the hydrogen, helium atoms. It is indestructible, but like Dalton had said, atoms cannot be created, no, it can be destroyed. Our atoms, when are there, scattered, dissipated, whether into the water, into the sky, or earth, and anywhere, we will still be there, but will not be that shape, that structure what we have. If each one of us has got an identity of its own. Each one of us is a part of a universe in itself, if you see critically. So let us, the question which I was asking, what is our contribution? Now, what is our contribution? Our contribution is, over the years, what we have done. We have gained weight at the expense of, what we were. We breathe oxygen. Have we returned that oxygen? We depend upon so many matters, like say the food, the trees, the flowers. Have we done something for it? Overall, what I can say is that if you see that we are so busy in ourselves, because there's hardly any effort, thought and time left to each one of us, besides our priorities of life, like working hard to earn livelihood, to support others, support family members, support people who are not so fortunate. So what we have done, anyway, I'll not go into those merits and demerits and the mega issues, but I would like to see is what we see when we compare our country, coming back to a country which is part of Mother Earth. We are lucky, fortunate that we have an identity of being an Indian. We are Indians. And for that matter, anybody, any human being is also part of his own country. But when we compare the difference, that some people, some races, particularly the races which are living nowadays, in recent times, say last 3 centuries, 4 centuries, 5 centuries, there had been great awakening in the fields of art, Renaissance, revolution, industrial revolution, things like that. When we compare our country, which was one of the greatest countries in the world, like any other civilization, like China or Egyptian civilization or Babylonian civilization or Greco-Roman civilization, whatever, where have we come to? We always blame others for our defects and faults, what we have done to our own people. We said we have been enslaved for a long time because invaders came. Invaders came because we were weak. There was something wrong with us. No invader can come to another country unless someone of us cooperates with them and shows them the way. Anyway, that is beside the point. I am talking about the present day situation. You go out, you see the people. It doesn't take any kind of a lesson or a training to people to tell them. They don't spit, don't throw things not throw muck around. Spitting randomly, we have not learned even post-independence that spitting is bad for health. Even in big cities, educated people, they are also doing it. We are throwing muck. You see our seashore line, see our cities, you'll find plastic bottles, plastic lying on the both sides of the road till eternity. What I'm talking about is that we have not maintained, we have not kept our surroundings, our country clean. Not only that, no, besides, now a free country, now we cannot blame outsiders and invaders that we have a grim poverty. You go to the villages, it's all right, the government is doing its best. But imagine the sincerity, honesty of our people, the money which is earmarked, which is dedicated for the upliftment of the people, does it go to the poor? We remain, our people remain poor, our people remain illiterate, uneducated. But a hell of a lot of machinery, this official, that official, but everything in this country, everybody is marking his time, enriching himself. Not bad idea. By own efforts, you can enrich yourself, no doubt about it. But what I'm talking about is a sense of responsibility. In this country, nobody gets up from the chair. Any person from top to bottom, everybody is glued to the chair. Nobody goes to the site. And how our city looks like, what are the condition of roads, what are the condition of our streets, what are the problems of people, what happens to the people when they give a complaint to any officer, it remains unattended, nobody knows anything. So first of all, thing we have to require, what we require in our country is streamlining of the administration, the responsible administration. Each and every person must be accountable, whether it's a money, it is a cleanliness, or it is, this thing, jobs, the hunger. You see the plight of street children. You see the plight of women. There's nobody to attend to their miseries. You go to the villages. We have administrative services. What is the point in administrative services if you train them in palatial houses? The training of the officers and servants of people of India should begin in the streets, in the villages. There is no concept of taking rounds and visits in our country, number one. Second point I'd like to say is, since being associated with the health matters, or the medical profession, the government has done quite a lot, no doubt about it, in recent times. The healthcare is very costly. God forbid if anybody falls sick, one has to have plenty of money, one is not insured. We have to have more funding for the health. We don't have a system of health here in our country. That you have a peripheral hospital, zonal hospitals, mid-zonal hospitals, and tertiary care hospitals. The system of posting the doctors. There has to be some kind of a system of posting the doctors in the interior, that everybody should get a fair chance of going to the interior. A doctor who is fresh MBBS is sent to the villages to look after the patient without any experience. As for the people in the remote villages, they are not guinea pigs to be left on untrained doctors. Unless a person, this happens during war also, if you send a battle line a surgeon who has just recently done surgery, you'll not be able to attend, you'll not be able to do surgery because there are massive type of injuries. In one patient you have a brain injury, you have a lung injury, you have abdominal injury, you have a bony injury. So therefore, very much highly skilled and experienced person should go and tackle such emergencies in remote areas. So therefore, everybody should go to the remote areas once he is fully acquired his skill and knowledge by doing this after doing post-graduation. So our health issues are very important. Next, I would like to say is a kind of what we see is what we are facing these days is danger of national security. Our geopolitical situation of India is in a very precarious state. We are surrounded by people. We have a long coastline. We have a long borders with countries who are not friendly to us. So therefore, a time has come. We will not be able to produce that kind of a manpower. So therefore, we must secure our borders by training people who are living in the border area, imparting in the military training also. Another thing are youngsters. Youngsters in times to come will require more and more manpower in armed forces. So therefore, we must have compulsory military training for our youth in schools and even in colleges. And finally, I would like to say, take a little more time, that we have not, as teachers, as parents, we have not been able to educate and train our children in a conduct at individual level and at community level. The first and foremost requirement of any human being is the truthful conduct, truthful living, hard work, compassion, honesty, the work ethics. A person, our countrymen, unfortunately, I happen to go to a lot of offices where people are not interested in work. They come at 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'll not name a state. There is a state somewhere in plains. I want to see the people in the, what is called power corporation or something like that. People are not there in seats, and nobody is bothered. Nobody is there to question the people who are not doing their jobs, who are not in their seats, or who are responsible. Irresponsible behavior. You know what kind of a nation we are, where people do not have, even if you are working in enemy country, one must have work ethics. One must work. That's what I was telling you. What are we giving in return to Mother Earth? Nothing. We are not giving anything in return. What these poor people, peasants and workers and the government and these taxpayers are giving us. I have seen that, unfortunately, our official machinery, unlike in armed forces, they don't do don't know what are they doing. They have no idea about anything, and they will never have any idea about it unless they are trained in those miserable circumstances, those difficult circumstances where armed forces personnel are trained. Unless they are sent to the various places. Have you seen any officer? This governor, that governor, this commissioner, this secretary, that secretary. I was seeing the list of the officers in the government. They are of no use to anyone. Please tell me, any human being, please tell me what advantage and what kind of a work or what kind of a problem has been solved by the official machine in our country. Not at all. It is surprising that some of the Indian Army officers who got stuck. One of my friends was across the channel in Britain. You imagine their efficiency. He rang up the highest authority and they made his arrangements for transshipment to France. What I mean to say, this kind of a sensitivity to the human problems, you cannot say our country is very highly populated, densely populated, unmanageable. No. Why you have made such huge big states? Why don't you have smaller states which can be managed? Our administration, this minister, that minister, tell me what are your MLA, MP, has he got any seats? Has he got any say in the administration? Can he point out something? Can he question anybody? We have no system of governance at lower levels. They are the district level, the block level, the village level, or street level, where nobody knows his job. It should be mandatory on even the elected persons, say MLA or MP, that he sits in his office from 9 to 5, like the government servant sits. It's beside the matter whether the government servant is working or not working. What I mean to say, we have to fix up accountability and responsibility to each and every person. You see the government buildings, how unclean they are. You see the streets, people are spitting. The palm spit is, lining. People, the foreigners, they come, go to Connaught Place, and they have been making video films. And all the walls, people are spitting. This is a state of affairs. And what a country. It is all right. The life of, those people who are in chair, they are comfortable. The standards of living as high as any king. But what I mean to say is, please come down. Our job is to work. Look at a doctor. He takes round every day. If he doesn't, his patients will die. This kind of system, taking rounds and visits, should be mandatory for each and everyone. The training of administrative services must begin in villages and hospitals so that they have an idea about the problems of the people. Anyway, this was a very small talk. What I mean to say finally, that I can say something about it, that our parents are taught, never take a gratitude for anyone. It is one of the most heinous crimes is to demand money which is not your entitlement. It's all right when you work, yes, it's your right to ask for the fruits of your labor, which are legal and correct. However, to accept bribes, demand bribes, enrich yourselves, what kind of an example you're giving? I am telling you, I have told you that atoms cannot be destroyed, they remain forever. Whatever mistakes we commit, we stand with our atoms. My dear friends, you may live 80 years, 90 years, 70 years, 60 years, whatever it is. But when we are dissipated our atoms, I'm telling you, we are destroying our present of our youth, our children, and the future of our own self also. The first and foremost thing, nothing else is required. We must tell our students, our kids, that be honest, work, and whatever you work, for whom we work, we have to work for others. You go to the offices, people come at 11 o'clock. One signature, I was surprised that one signature may fetch 200 crore rupees. The person who is in this kind of a job, where he is taking bribes, several hundreds of crores, what kind of a service he will give to the countrymen? That is why he's lagging behind. That is one of the reasons, besides internal conflicts, our own foolishness, which are responsible for our prolonged enslavement. And we are a free nation for thousands of years, till the Emperor Harshvardhan called it a day in North India. The reason was the standards were very high. We will not be able to stand in future anywhere in the next 20 to 30 years unless we improve as a nation, as a human being, and become responsible to God, to nature, to our country, for giving us such a beautiful life. Thank you very much. God bless us all. Thank you.